800 years ago in feudal Japan, there was a group of warriors who faced death every day. I'm not talking about ordinary soldiers. I'm talking about the samurai. Men who went into battle knowing they might not return, who looked the enemy in the eye without blinking, who made almost impossible decisions under extreme pressure. And the question that has intrigued historians and scientists for centuries is, how? How can someone live like that? How does someone develop that level of courage? The answer wasn't in natural talent. The answer lay in rituals. Specific rituals. Practiced every day. Without exception. And you know what's most interesting? I'm not talking about mystical or magical experiences. I'm talking about concepts and processes whose effectiveness neuroscience itself confirms. Neuroscience has already proven that these rituals have the power to reprogram the brain to act under pressure. Today you're going to discover exactly what these rituals were, how the samurai used them, and how you can apply them to your life, starting tomorrow morning. So let's get straight to the video. Chapter 1. Logan's Hell. Logan was 31 years old when he realized he was living like a coward. Not in the obvious way. He didn't run away from robberies or avoid physical confrontations. It was worse than that. Logan was the type who was terrified of talking to his boss about a raise. The kind of person who had a brilliant idea in a meeting, but stayed quiet while someone else with a worse idea was listened to and congratulated. The kind of person who dreamed of starting their own business 5 years ago, but always found an excuse to postpone it. It's not the right time. I need to study more. What if it goes wrong? He woke up every day at 7 a.m. Always late, always rushing, always with that feeling of living on autopilot. At work, he was invisible. He did enough to avoid being fired, but never enough to get promoted. At night, he would scroll through Instagram until midnight, watching other people living the lives he wanted to live. He knew he was wasting his life. He knew he was letting fear control everything. But I didn't know how to stop. Until one Friday night, after another day spent quietly in an important meeting, Logan did something different. He was the type of person who enjoyed watching anime, and he had already watched many samurai anime. He was finishing watching Demon Slayer, and even knowing that it was a fictional story, he understood that in real life, samurai had to deal with the extreme fear of dying in battle, of shaming their clan, of losing their own honor, and he always found it fascinating how samurai managed to cope with that pressure. So that Friday he got home and typed into Google, how did samurai deal with fear? And what he found would change everything. Chapter 2. The Discovery of the 3 Pillars. The first article Logan read was about a ritual called Misogi. Misogi was a Shinto purification practice, but the samurai transformed it into something much deeper. Every day before dawn, samurai warriors would walk to the waterfalls in the mountains, and they stayed there under icy water for minutes, sometimes hours. No clothes, no protection, just them and the extreme cold. Logan's first reaction was, "This is crazy." But then he continued reading, and he discovered that the samurai didn't do that because they enjoyed suffering. They did it because they understood that. When you learn to control your mind in extreme physical discomfort, you learn to control your mind in any situation. Think about it. If you can remain calm in extreme cold, breathing in a controlled manner without panicking, it's easier to stay calm when an enemy is pointing a sword at you. Can you stay calm when you need to make a life-changing decision? Can you stay calm when everything around you is falling apart? And Logan read more. He discovered that it wasn't just misogyny. The samurai had a complete system. 3 pillars, 3 daily practices that transformed ordinary men into unwavering warriors. First pillar, Misogi, purification through discomfort. Misogi has its roots in Shintoism, the native religion of Japan, where it was used as a ritual of spiritual purification. But when the samurai adopted this practice, they transformed it into something much more practical. It wasn't about purifying the soul. It was about forging the mind. The original practice involved bathing under icy waterfalls, known as takigyo. The warrior would stand there, often chanting mantras or maintaining absolute silence, while the icy water cascaded over his body. The logic was brutal and simple. If you can control your breathing and panic under an icy waterfall, You can remain calm when faced with a sword. The extreme cold forces your body into panic mode. Your amygdala, the fear center in the brain, triggers all the alarms, but you don't go out. You take a deep breath, you calm down, you stay. And every time you do that, you're strengthening the connection between the prefrontal cortex, your rational side, and the amygdala, your emotional side. The samurai called this killing the frightened ego before battle. Modern science calls this increasing autonomic resilience, but the result is the same. You become able to remain calm under extreme pressure. Second pillar, Mushin, the empty mind. Mushin is a concept that comes from Zen Buddhism and means without mind or empty mind. As I've already explained in other videos, Mushin is not the absence of thought, it is the absence of doubt and hesitation. It's the state where you act without thinking, where you respond instinctively, where there's no room for the paralysis of analysis. The samurai practiced Zazen meditation every day. They sat in absolute silence, focusing only on their breathing, emptying their minds of thoughts for 20, 30, sometimes 60 minutes. And they trained their minds to focus on the present moment, only on the now. See why? Because fear lives in the future. What if I fail? What if I die? What if it doesn't work out? All of this is the future. All of this is projected anxiety. On the battlefield, there is no future. There is only the now, the movement of the sword, the enemy's position, your own breath. And when you train your mind to live in the present moment, fear loses its power. There's a samurai saying that goes, when the mind is empty, it's ready for anything. When it's full, it's ready for nothing. Olympic athletes today call it being in the zone. Neuroscientists call it flow state. The samurai called it Mushin. Third pillar, Hara, the center of courage. Hara is the body's energy center. It is located about 3 finger widths below the navel in the abdominal region. In Japanese culture, courage doesn't come from the heart. It doesn't come from the head. It comes from Hara, from the womb. There's even an expression. When someone has unwavering courage, the Japanese say that person has Hara ga suwaru. Their belly is settled, firm, stable. And the samurai trained this through breathing exercises. Deep breathing, focused on the abdomen, slow, controlled. Before each battle, before each duel, they did this. They took a deep breath, expanding their bellies, lowering their center of gravity of anxiety. The technique was simple, yet powerful. Breathe in deeply through your nose, filling your abdomen, not your chest. Hold for a few seconds. Exhale slowly through your mouth, emptying it completely. And modern science has discovered that they were absolutely right. When you breathe deeply into your abdomen, you activate the vagus nerve. This nerve is like a direct cable between your abdomen and your brain. And it sends a signal. We are safe. Instantly, the parasympathetic nervous system kicks in. The fight or flight mode shuts down. Your heart rate slows down. Your blood pressure drops. Your mind clears. You regain control. The samurai didn't know about science, but they knew the result. Chapter 3. Logan's journey begins. Logan read all of that on that Friday night, and on Monday morning at 5:30 a.m., he did something different than usual. He went into the shower, and he turned the tap to cold, completely. The first few seconds were a shock. His whole body screamed. His breathing became erratic. Every cell in his body begged to get out of there, but Logan remembered what he had read. If you quit when things get tough, you're training your brain to give up. If you stay, you're training it to resist. So he stayed. He took a deep breath, once, twice, 3 times, and the panic began to subside. The water didn't get any colder, but his mind calmed down. He stayed for 2 minutes, and when he left, he didn't feel euphoria. He didn't feel an unwavering motivation as many teach. But he had the feeling that he was in control. The feeling that says, I decided to do something difficult. And I did. For the first time in years, Logan felt he had power over himself. Now, I want to point something out here. I'm not saying that taking cold showers is the solution to all your problems with lack of discipline or lack of motivation. Exposure to extreme cold is just one of the techniques that help humans cope with discomfort, and this technique is advocated by highly respected people such as Dr. Andrew Huberman, the well-known Wim Hof, among others. So this technique is just one of the pillars that can help you, but it's not something magical that will change your life overnight. Day 2, Logan did the same thing. 5:30 a.m. ice water, 2 minutes. Day 3, same thing. Day 7, Logan added the second practice, 5 minutes of silence. He sat on the sofa, no cell phone, no music, no TV, just him and his own breath. In the first few days, his mind wouldn't stop. He thought about work, bills, past conversations, and future worries, but he didn't give up. And gradually he realized that he could simply observe thoughts without reacting to them, like clouds passing in the sky. And for the first time in a long time, Logan understood what it meant to live in the present. Day 14. Logan was at work when it happened, an important meeting. He had an idea that could save the company thousands of dollars, but as always, the voice in my head started, "What if it's a stupid idea? What if everyone judges me? It's best to stay quiet." But then Logan did something different. He took a deep breath. He focused on his abdomen once, twice, and he sensed Hara settling down, and then he spoke. He raised his hand and spoke. It wasn't a movie speech, but he spoke. And do you know what happened? People listened. The boss took notes. And at the end of the meeting, the manager came to talk to him. "Good idea, Logan. Let's implement it." Logan left that meeting and realized the fear hadn't gone away. He had acted despite his fear. Chapter 4. The science behind the rituals. If you're a more skeptical person, you might be thinking right now, but is this just a placebo? Is it just positive thinking? No. Stanford neuroscientist Andrew Huberman explains, when you voluntarily expose yourself to stress, like ice water, and maintain control of your breathing, you are literally training the neural circuits that regulate your stress response. You are increasing your autonomic resilience. In other words, you are teaching your brain that it can handle discomfort without panicking. And there's more. Studies on meditation show that practices such as Zazen, the meditation of the samurai, reduce activity in the brain's default mode network. This network is responsible for self-criticism, rumination, and anxiety about the future. When you switch off, you enter a state of flow, in Mushin. And what about abdominal breathing? It has been proven countless times that this type of breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, reducing cortisol and calming the body in seconds. The samurai didn't have laboratories. They didn't have double-blind studies. Neuroscience didn't even exist back then. But they had years of experience, and they knew it worked. Chapter 5. Beyond the 3 pillars and modern techniques. But Logan didn't stop there. He discovered that modern neuroscience had found other ways to train courage and discipline, and he started applying them too. The 5-second rule. Created by Mel Robbins, this technique is simple yet devastatingly effective. When you have the urge to do something difficult, like speaking up in a meeting, making that call, or starting that project, you have 5 seconds to act. Count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move. Why? Because after 5 seconds, your brain starts making excuses. The rationalizations begin. Maybe later. It's not the right time. I'll do it tomorrow. But if you act within the first 5 seconds, you overcome the hesitation. Logan started using it for everything. When the alarm clock rang, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get up. When I was afraid to send that message, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, send. When I wanted to quit training, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, one more set. And it worked. The other method was micro-sucks, small deliberate discomforts. Another thing Logan learned, discipline is like a muscle that needs to be trained every day. The idea behind micro-sucks is simple. Throughout the day, do small things that you don't want to do. Make your bed as soon as you wake up. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Wait 10 minutes before picking up your cell phone in the morning. Do 5 more repetitions when you want to stop. Andrew Huberman explains that this trains a region of the brain called the medial anterior cingulate cortex, or AMCC. This region is directly linked to willpower, and believe it or not, to longevity. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And Logan began to do this religiously. Every day at least 3 micro sucks, small victories against laziness. And gradually he realized that it was becoming easier to do difficult things. The next pillar was cognitive reframing. Logan also learned a powerful technique for dealing with anxiety before important moments. Instead of trying to calm down, which is almost impossible when your heart is racing and your hands are sweating, he did something counterintuitive. He said aloud, "I'm excited." Why? Because physiologically, fear and excitement are almost identical. Racing heart, rapid breathing, sweaty palms. The difference lies in the mental interpretation. Fear says, "This is a threat." Excitement says, "This is an opportunity." And by changing the label, you change the brain's response. Instead of activating avoidance circuits, you activate reward-seeking circuits. Dopamine, motivation. Logan started doing this before every presentation, every difficult conversation, every tense moment. And it worked better than trying to calm down. Chapter 6. The Transformation. 30 days after beginning the rituals, Logan was a different person. Not because the fear had disappeared, he could still feel it. But now, when fear arose, he knew exactly what to do. Breathe, count, move. He started waking up at 5:30 every day. Without an alarm clock, he just woke up. I took a cold shower, 2 minutes, no negotiation. I meditated for 5 minutes, without my cell phone nearby. At work, he was no longer invisible. He spoke up in meetings. He gave his opinions, he asked questions when he felt it was necessary. And do you know what happened? People started listening. They started respecting. Logan asked for a raise and he got it. The side project he'd been putting off for 5 years finally began, and in 30 days, he already had a working prototype. He went back to the gym, and this time he didn't give up. And most importantly, he no longer lived in an anxious future. He lived in the present. One day at a time. One decision at a time. But here's the most fascinating part. Logan discovered that the samurai were right about something that modern society has completely forgotten. Courage is not a feeling. It's not something you feel and then act on. It's exactly the opposite. You take action, and then courage appears. The samurai knew this, that's why they didn't wait to feel brave before going into battle. They trained their bodies and minds to act independently of what they were feeling. And that's the secret most people never understand. You don't need to wait for the fear to pass before you act. You act, and the fear passes. Logan is 32 years old today. He still meditates. He still does his micro-challenges, because he knows that the day he stops, the paralyzing fear returns. And he doesn't want to live that way anymore. Here's the truth no one tells you about courage. It's not a gift. It's not something you're born with or without. It's a skill. And like any skill, it can be trained. The samurai knew this. They created a system, a ritual, a daily discipline. And today, science has proven them right. And you? Are you going to keep waiting for the day when you feel brave enough to do what you know you need to do? Or are you just going to start? Because in the end, the difference between those who live in fear and those who live with courage isn't talent. It's training. If you've made it this far, tell me, which of these practices will you try first? Exposure to cold, meditation, the 5-second rule? Comment below. And if you accept the 30-day challenge, come back here and tell me what has changed in your life. I bet you'll be surprised. Thank you so much for your time. Until the next video,